Sadashivasamaramбхам Shankaracharya-madhyamam Asmadacharya-paryantam Vande Guru-paramparam Shruti-smriti-purananam Alayam Karunalayam Namami Bhagavad-padam Shankaram Lokashankaram Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Badarayanam Sutrabhashya Krito Vande Bhagavanto Punah Punaha Ishvaro Gururatmeti Murti Bheda Vibhagine Vyomavat Vyapta Dehaya Dakshinamurtaye Namaha Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahano Bhunaktu Saha Viryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma Vitvishavahi Om Shanti 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 Gurur Brahma Gurur Vishnu Gurur Devo Maheshwaraha Guru Sakshat Param Brahma Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Dayakaram Dayakaram Dantan Dharma Pravartakam Pranamami Dayanandam Madacharya Paramparam Om Gam Ganapataye Namaha Om Gam Ganapataye Namaha Om Gam Ganapataye Namaha Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. I thought it would be nice to speak about the benefits and the importance of these forms of worship. So traditionally, we have, in any household in India, they will have an altar. Somewhere they will have the altar. Altar will be many times in the kitchen, even if it's small. But some people have elaborate altars. Some people have a whole room reserved for an altar. So many people have a whole room reserved for Ishvara. And as we all know, these are all just forms to invoke the one consciousness. In fact, all there is consciousness, one without a second. And this consciousness, it is not perceptible, it is not available for the senses, not available for any of the five means of knowledge in which we use to understand the external world. Because this pratyaksha pramana, a means of knowledge, to pick up knowledge of the external world. And from pratyaksha pramana, we have other pramanas. We have anumana pramana, inference, arthapati, two-step inference. You have many other pramanas stemming always from pratyaksha. So whole of our life is dependent on what? Pratyaksha pramana. The only thing most human beings know is the perception. From perception, every other knowledge is born. Then why do we have these forms? These forms are also because they're perceivable. I can see Ganesha's form. I can see Shiva's form. I can see Durga's form. I can see Jesus's form. I can see any form which is put at an altar. It doesn't matter about the religion. It is that a form is placed at the altar. And what does that form represent? That form represents, and again, here we need a sixth pramana, which is beyond the pratyaksha paramana, more than the sense perceptions, a sixth pramana which we accept as Veda pramana. Vedas are the source text for this way and vision of light. I don't like using the word religion. There's no religion here. It's a way and vision of life. And that way and vision of life can be applied in any culture, any context, anywhere in the world. And what is this way and vision of life? The Vedas talk about the imperceptible. So what Vedas mainly come into, our vision as pramana is for explaining the imperceptible, that which we cannot see, that which pratyaksha has no access to. And we have many topics that the Veda unfolds that pratyaksha pramana has no access to. First topic is the order of dharma. So Veda talks about there's an invisible order, law of the universe. We can call it Rita, Dharma. And this invisible law or order of the universe is based on one simple, fundamental knowledge that everybody has. And that knowledge is, I do not want to get hurt. I don't want to get hurt physically, mentally, emotionally. I don't want to get hurt. In the same way, others also don't want to get hurt. Not just other human beings. Any creature, any living thing does not want to get hurt. And the basic premise for this dharma order stems from this. This is the root. So when I understand that, others, I don't want to get hurt. Others also don't want to get hurt. That feeling gives rise to a set of universal values. That's why it become universal, because everybody, everywhere, doesn't want to get hurt. And because everybody doesn't want to get hurt, there is some universal values that are born from this dharma. And they are universal samanya dharma. We call it universal values. What are these universal values? We don't need to go to value school to understand. Even though nowadays you have schools where you have, education and values. Do we really need education and values? It's quite a frightening society when we need to be educated in values, because the values are intrinsic, Vedas say, to the human heart. It is your conscience. What does your conscience say? I don't want to be lied to. If you say, I don't want to be lied to, what does it imply? Do others like to be lied to? No. It is not just dharma is not a one-way system. That is the thing. It is a two-way system. It is an interactional system. That's why it's a law of this universe. I don't like to be lied to in the same way others also don't like to be lied to. I don't like to be stolen from in the same way others also don't like to be stolen from. I don't like to be hurt. Others also don't like to be hurt. I don't like to be abused. Others also don't like to be abused. Like this, we have a reciprocal system, and that system in many cultures is known as the golden rule. The golden rule exists in every single culture, tradition, system, because it is a human value. And that value is what? Do unto others as you wish others to do unto you. Very simple. Do unto others as you wish others to do unto you. We are very clear when it comes to how others should treat us. Very clear. Are we so clear on how we are treating others? Dharma means it is, remember, reciprocal. It is an energy flow. How I treat others should be how I wish to be treated by others. Then people will come and say, but others treat me like this. Why shouldn't I treat them back like that? Because we are interested because our pursuit is for the highest goal, moksha. Especially when the focus is on moksha, I don't care what others do to me, but I don't transgress this one rule of dharma. I continue to be in line with dharma, universal values, not because I want to people please, not because I become a doormat, but because I see the value of that sticking with ethical values for my own growth in order that I discover moksha, because dharma, living a life of dharma, is tied in with the ultimate discovery. That again revealed by the Veda. Unseen, these are non-verifiable. So Vedas reveal that which is imperceptible, law of dharma. Then from this law of dharma, another law is revealed in the Veda. That is the law of karma. Law of karma means when I transgress dharma, when I do what is not to be done, or I intentionally harm, sometimes I don't intentionally mean to hurt, but here we can talk about when I intentionally harm or I go against ethical norms to get something of my desire or achieve something I want to achieve, then this law of karma says, there is a invisible result to your action. And that invisible result is called papa karma. And that invisible result will definitely manifest some point, maybe in this life, maybe in future lives, because future lives is also revealed by Veda. Again, imperceptible. We cannot verify future reincarnations or incarnations. All of these are non-verifiable beliefs, but they are revealed by this pramana, which talks about imperceptibles. Let us always remember it is talking about the imperceptible. And what is this papa? One time or other, the Vedas say that karma, because karma is the law of cause and effect, and one time or other, that is going to manifest in our lives as unpleasant situations. We never know when, but that is papa karma manifesting. Unpleasant means I suffer mentally because of it. There is some mental suffering. So this is papa. At the same time, when punya when you go in line with dharma, do actions in accordance with ethical values and doing what is to be done as life unfolds for you at every moment, what happens? You gain that invisible result called punya. Punya becomes, again, pleasant situations for you in this future or in future lives. So these are some of the things Veda talks about. Dharma, karma, all unseen laws, reincarnation, unseen law. And the same Veda brings to light another order, which is the order of Ishvara, another invisible order of the universe, which is sometimes depicted as different orders, because we see that it is all encompassing one order, and that order has been split into various orders for us to understand the one order. Everything is within that one order, and the Vedas unfold that order as Ishvaraha. Ish comes from the one that controls, Ish, to control in Sanskrit. Control meaning the law that holds the fabric of the universe, the laws and orders that are the fabric of this universe that hold everything together. Those very laws are Ishvara for us. Ishvara is not somebody sitting in some place giving out mandates. He is not some mandating, it's not some mandating God. It is the very law and fabric of this universe. That is how Ishvara's unfolded. And this is the Vedic unfoldment. We also go one step further, saying this Ishvara is not just merely intelligence, because many religions, many traditions understand Ishvara as the intelligence behind this universe, this creation. For us, intelligence is very much there, but where is this intelligence and where is the material for the universe? Every intelligent being that creates something needs material for the creation, right? Usually the material, like pot and pot maker is separate from the clay, right? The clay that goes to form the pot maker is the intelligent cause of the pot. And he uses the clay, which is the material, to mold the pot. Here you find generally the intelligence is separate from the material. But the uniqueness of this Vedic unfoldment of Ishvara is that the logic is if the intelligence is separate from the material, then where did the material come from? Where did the material? There must have been another intelligence to create that material, to create this world. It will go into infinite regression. There will be no answer to where the material for the universe comes from. So the Vedas say the very material cause for this universe is non-separate from the intelligence. When in the case of pot and pot maker, the pot maker doesn't come along with the pot when you get the pot. The intelligence remains separate. But here in Ishvara's case, the intelligence and material have manifested together to create this Jagat. The rishis use a beautiful example in Mundaka Upanishad, Yator Nanabi Srijate Grinnatecha, like a spider weaves its web from itself. As all the examples are limited because the spider remains separate from the web there as well, but it has come from itself. But it is to explain that the web emerges from itself. In the same way, this web of the universe emerges from the one, Ishvara, intelligence, and that intelligence becomes the very universe. The intelligence we see in everything. More and more you look at the Jagat, the every name and form, there's nothing, it just shines intelligence, all knowledge. There is no way it can be put together by a non-intelligent, unconscious being. There has to be a conscious being that is here, that inheres in the form of intelligence. This is how this Veda Pramana unfolds this truth of Ishvara. Now, how do I contact this Ishvara? He is imperceptible, also not available. His intelligence behind everything. How do I contact this Ishvara? How do I come in touch with Ishvara? I want to feel Ishvara. I want to perceive Ishvara. So that is why human beings find it very difficult to relate to imperceptible. We always have the orientation of perceptible. So we've seen that. All our pramanas are based on perceptible, perceptible, perceptible. So here we have a culture which invokes this Ishvara in the perceptible. That is all that is happening when we do puja, when we pray. Everything perceptible, in fact, can be taken as an altar for invoking that one material and intelligence for the whole universe, which is in everything. It can bring in, that invocation means you bring in the energy of Ishvara into that form. There is a certain energy invested in the forms because is the form by itself powerful? The form is made powerful through the prayers and chanting of the devotees, of the people who worship the forms. The forms, any temple you go to in India, you can imagine, not any temple, but the ancient ones. There are many, many thousands of years old temples where the forms of worship have not stopped for one day, especially in Tamil Nadu where we're going. Thousands of years this worship has been happening. to that deity, one deity. Same chanting, and they do puja like 4 times a day, traditional forms of puja, which again are written in Veda, how to do, when to do, all of this, the process is written because there's a process of invoking the energy. There's a process also, like a manual. The 16-step process is a process to invoke that energy. So like this has been unfolded in this means of knowledge, Veda, that discusses imperceptible actions for imperceptible results of action, imperceptible karma. So this perceptible is only a symbol for the imperceptible, that which we cannot perceive. It is not the elephant-faced Ganesha we are worshipping. What is elephant? You see the symbolism of Ganesha. Elephant is one of the most intelligent creatures in creation. It's considered very, very intelligent. Ganesha's role as a deity is to provide intelligence. Buddhi Siddhi, we chanted today. Om Shri Mahaganadipataye Namaha. Om Siddhi Buddhi Sahitaya. Siddhi Buddhi Sahitaya. Siddhi Buddhi are two names. Sometimes he is actually single, but sometimes he's depicted with two consorts, Siddhi and Buddhi. Siddhi means success. Buddhi, we know, means intellect. When you think clearly, when you make right decisions at the right time, right place in life, then you have success immediately, Siddhi. So he is the Lord of Siddhi and Buddhi. He gives you the ability to make the right decision by clearing the path for you. So elephants, if you've seen, you live in Anikatti for some time, you will see they come into the ashram, the Gurukulam, quite often they used to come. And we think elephants sometimes are very benign, soft creatures. Yes, they can be, you see them. But if they want something, they go and get it. They don't mind destroying a whole thing in the way. I've seen elephants going for mangoes in the Gurukulam. There's a mango tree. And they come in herds as well. So the leader, it just sees, I don't know how it knows, smells or sees, there's a huge, forest is huge, but it will love the mango tree in the Gurukulam. So it comes all the way and there's no thought of the trees in the way, it just clears the path. Like wherever, an elephant has been there because there's nothing there. It is just a path. If they were trained to do the roads, it would be fantastic. It'd just be a flat, clear road. And you see the tree is, all the mangoes are gone. So this is the why he has given this image of this elephant, because for obstacle clearance, his role is what? Energy of obstacle clearance. This is the form that clears all the obstacles, plus the intelligence of the elephant. It gives also the intelligence ability to make the right decisions at the right time, right place. Because in life, you are your decisions. Very important, in life, you are your decisions. Whatever decision you take, that goes to make your life. So this is how we invoke this energy in this tiny form, which is very hidden now with all the offerings. It doesn't matter size, but we invoke that energy through the mantras. We invoke that energy through the chanting. We invoke that energy for our lives, because everybody needs siddhi and buddhi. If you think in any aspect of life, we need siddhi and buddhi, buddhi and siddhi. Even for spiritual life, without a clear thinking intellect, will we have moksha siddhi. Moksha siddhi also, although it is not dependent on intellect is required to inquire into itself. So buddhi is a very important tool in the spiritual pursuit for self-inquiry. And the one who clears the obstacles from this wrong thinking or erroneous perceptions, erroneous notions, erroneous projections is this Lord depicted in a form. You can see now the beauty, every form in Sanatana Dharma will have some beautiful symbolism. In fact, Ganesha is holding on to a lot of things, that also another day we can see different forms of Ganesha. They have these weapons. All the gods have 5 arms and weapons, but each one has some role in a human being's life to clear something or other. So the these ancient texts have unfolded Ishvara in the form of various orders. Even those orders have deities ruling those orders, as we see in the deities of nature. And that also in many cultures you have that, right? Deities, you have Poseidon, Neptune, Lord of Waters, uh, Greek gods, Roman gods, Norse gods. You have all, societies, ancient cultures have depicted this nature, especially natural forms, as gods, powers. Because we can see when the force takes over, human beings don't stand a chance, right? I was in a flood in Chennai once, when it couldn't stop monsoon, didn't stop raining. Everybody thinks they're so powerful. First time in my life, because when you're usually in Europe or anything, you don't face natural disaster or anything like that. Not, we are very blessed in Europe. We don't have major earthquakes, this, that, maybe some flood here and there off and on. These days things are changing, but you see more and more how blessed, because there are countries and places in the world where people have to face natural disasters on a regular basis. Japan, for instance. That is why they were so resilient as a race. Because, they just keep building up the country. So much they have experienced in their lives throughout their history. Atom bomb, this tsunami, earthquake. Still, it's one of the greatest economies in the world because of the resilience of the people. They don't let those. But going back to this experience in Chennai, living in the flood, there was luckily my apartment I was staying in was the second floor, but everyone on the ground floor in every part of Chennai, it was their whole homes were flooded. There was no electricity, there was no food, there was no water. First time we had to ration everything, and plus people started coming to my place. So my whole home, I opened out to everybody. Everybody was doing that. I had all these 15 people staying. We were staying together, and I said, you can all stay with me as long as we pray. So that was my own rule. So every day we would have Vishnu Sahasranama, 1,000 names of Vishnu. The only thing we had a supply of was candles for the altar. So candles we would light and we would keep praying, praying, and things just came. Nobody lacked food. Somehow something was there. Nobody lacked water. Until everything cleared, we survived. So it was a really interesting. There was no cell phones. We couldn't call. It was very interesting to live through such times. 1 week it was like this. But, everybody was happy in that week. Without anything, without electricity, current, because we were praying together. We were so happy. So everybody afterwards, they're feeling sad. Oh, we have to go back to home. So what I'm saying, this floods, all of this are depicted by deities, the ones who have the power over the rains, the ones who have the power over the sun shining, the heat and light of the sun, Aditya Bhagavan, Surya, Varuna, the rains. So, like all the cultures, these powers have been given certain deities that preside over them. So, here we find in this puja worship form, we spend some time. Especially, I will talk about, there are many steps, different varieties of puja. Panchopachara puja, which is 5-step puja, which is the basic one. If you're in a rush, people do 5. 16th step is, it doesn't take too long. We have so much time to do, other things as well. But if you do with all the mantras and everything, for people, it may take some time. But 16 step is generally what is followed. And 16 steps it is just a skeleton outline. Puja is your way of connecting to that power. So I always say, how do you feel like connecting? I know somebody in England, she asked me because she had come for one of my retreats and we had done this type of ritual. She said, I cannot connect to the Indian deities. I don't feel. Can I put Mother Mary there? Can I put something, some pagan, she had some pagan wooden goddess. I said, of course you can put, because we can put anybody in the altar. The name and form doesn't matter for us. It is the energy behind the name and form we are bringing to our lives. So we can put anybody in the altar, but we have specific, in this tradition, we have these specific deities that are brought in a traditional form of worship. So the 16-step puja is a way of inviting in the ancient Vedic culture the VVIP guests home. So the VVVIP guest that used to come to the house, guest in Sanskrit is Atiti. Atiti, Atiti Devo Bhava, which means may the guest be as Ishvara for you. May the guest be like God for you. Atiti, Titi means on time. When you add the it means the person who never comes on time. Meaning the guest can show up at any time, but whoever shows up is Ishvara for you. So this is a beautiful cultural thing. In very traditional households, they will always be ready for atitis. These people, they will just come, travelers. In Manjakudi, again, when you see, they will have this place outside the homes. The homes are constructed called Thinnai. Thinnai is like a little shelter outside the main door, just with a roof and a, platform, somewhere to sit and somewhere to sleep, lie down. And this was always built in every home for anybody who wanted to take shelter overnight. There was that's Indian hospitality. Anybody who wanted to, in their journey, break their journey, they would always have a place there. And of course, food would be given from the home. So, Atiti is a very important idea in Vedic culture. Guest. Guest is God. And here, the 16th step is for welcoming the VVVVIP, the most important guest into our lives. So, in the steps of the puja, you find, what we do. We ask, asanam samarpayami, please take a seat. Asanam is seat. Whatever we do for a guest, we give to Lord. We're welcoming the Lord into our homes. So, asanam samarpayami, then snanam we're giving a bath as well, water for bath. So we give water offering, padyam. When the traditional culture, when the guest used to come, the first thing that was done was washing the feet of the guest. Because, they've traveled far. That takes a lot of humility to wash somebody's feet, right? That was always done. That's why when anybody, especially our gurus, at least the teachers come to our homes, we always have a big plate ready with chandanam, kumkum, all of this. Before they enter the main house, we wash their feet and make sure they're comfortable. And then we take them into the main home. And then asanam samarpayami, please take a seat. These what the mantras are saying, please take a seat, be here. And we have other steps like this. Vastram samarpayami, we give clothes, new clothes. Because when a guest comes, you also offer abharanam, jewels. In those days, jewelry was also offered. So as we do for a physical guest in the Vedic times, the 16-step puja is a reflection of that. The same thing is done. Because the guest, remember, is God. Atiti Devo Bhava, saying of the Upanishad. Whoever comes to your home and you serve that person, it is worship of Ishvara. So this is again Vedic cultural understanding. And many of you already know the 16-step puja. There are different variations of it. So again, as I said, nothing is written in stone. The rules, there is a way of doing, but if you feel your heart, you have a way of connecting. It is more the feeling. If you do things mechanically, it is not worth. The feeling should be invoked more because Ishvara connects to the feeling. He connects to the emotion. More than Ishvara connecting, you connect to Ishvara through your emotions. So whatever helps you gain devotion, it is a devotional practice. And more than that, a devotional practice, because it is a karma, puja is a karma. What karanas does it use? What instruments at which you have does puja use? It uses your mind because you focus on the deity. Dhyayami, the beginning steps, avahayami, I invoke. You say these mantras. Dhyayami, I asked you to visualize Ganesha. That step of meditating on the form is there as well. And then you begin the process of purification, all of the symbolic, purifying everything around, all of that. But this Ganesha you invoke through the chanting, through inviting Ganesha to your home. And when you are doing the 108 names, you're invoking through different qualities and attributes of that energy. So when Namaha, Namaha, again, you're using what karana? You're using your body, you're using your mind, and because of chanting, we're using our mouth as well. So all the three instruments that are given for a human being to function in this world are being directed towards Ishvara. So puja is a very beautiful form of directing to Ishvara all my three instruments. And every offering I do, like in the meditation I was saying, you can even offer the worst of things because Ishvara takes. Nobody else will take. Everybody else will throw it back at you. You offer them, no. No human being can take. Bhagavan will take the worst things that you feel. This is preventing me from progress. Give it at the altar. So when you give the flower, there can be flowers of gratitude. There can be flowers of helplessness. There can be flowers of love. There can be all different forms of flowers because Ishvara accepts everything. He is number one super therapist, Swamiji used to say. He validates everyone. Therapists are there for a while, but Ishvara validates everyone. So this is how I connect to Ishvara. And why do I need to connect to Ishvara? Why? Why do we need to connect? Again, we need to solve a lot of issues. We need some altar to express things to. An altar that is non-judgmental, is not going to talk back. Now, this is, now we have ChatGPT that doesn't talk back. I heard ChatGPT always praises you. Somebody was saying, anything you do, it will always validate. Oh, that's so beautiful, even little thing. So there's one more Ishvara. I actually asked it once just to test. I said, you are just a machine. You are just you're not, you're only a all programmed, something all programmed. And why should humanity trust you or something? And it said back to me, Swamini, you talk about Ishvara, and can you not see I am also the order of Ishvara? So I said, this is really, yeah. So, it is incredible what it can actually understand and say. But here we're worshipping, one intelligence. We're giving everything to that intelligence. All of me is going, all with everything I offer. And what happens? Do you think Ishvara does not hear? No. Do you think nothing happens? No. Puja or prayer is 100% the free will involved action without obstacles. Every other activity will have some obstacle or other for the goal. In prayer and worship, Vedas say there is no obstacle between you and Ishvara. It is just pure one-to-one. When we go to church or temples, maybe there's an obstacle, the priest is there, But here, in your own altar, you are one-to-one with Ishvara. And that's a beautiful connection to invoke because we need, in helplessness, as I said, we need help. So, what is the value of this in our lives? Again, first, to express our helplessness, we need an altar to express. Another thing is that whatever you do with the three karanas will have a result. And because it is 100% involving your free will, the 100% result will be punya in your punya account. So puja creates a lot of adrishta, a lot of punya. And then why do we need punya for Vedanta? Because we're trying to escape punya and papa. We're trying to get out. Yes, on one hand, we're trying to see we are not bound by the results of action. We are aiming to discover punya are golden shackles that bind and papa are iron shackles that bind. But in order for that discovery to take place, first I need punya creating situations. That's where the sankalpa becomes important. I don't ask always for things that, material comforts. Even that is included in all our sankalpa, because you need some level of comfort to study. If you're living, in abject poverty, if I go and teach Vedanta in a slum in Mumbai, who will come and listen? Everybody is trying to eke out a living. So you need an infrastructure also for the study or for the following of the spiritual pursuit. So punya is needed to create the infrastructure. You need an infrastructure of a teacher to come and teach. You need an infrastructure of a place to learn. All of this is punya manifestation. So there are many obstacles in this spiritual pursuit. Many things can happen, many things can come. Prayer and worship are forms that avert all of these would-be papas. They're all there in storage. We have enough papas in Sanchita account to ward off this papas spoiling my spiritual pursuit, because my goal is moksha. I'm born for moksha, and I'm very clear it is not for any other reason I want obstacles removed. I want it because I want moksha. And when there's always obstacles or some obstruction coming to that goal, then it's very difficult for me to focus. So prayer is a daily, in Veda it said, daily to be done activity. Daily to be done, even if you're studying Vedanta. Many people in Vedanta drop it because, oh no, the text is there, unconsciousness. No, today I'm explaining the importance. Even I am sitting and doing puja every day here. I don't need to be doing pujas because, after sannyas, we give up all the karyas, all the karmas. But I do it because it is so important, I feel, for my sankalpa is for people on the spiritual pursuit. It is for Vedanta students because we need that grace. Grace is the unknown factor which makes every difference in life. Grace can transform anything. And grace is that unseen factor that invoked by forms of worship and your efforts. So whatever it is, keep up some form of worship, even if it is lighting a lamp, whatever you feel, keep up some form of worship wherever you are. It is invoking the one's grace, because Ishvara is in the form of potentials to be tapped. He is just potentials. Potentials are all here in everything, potential. But unless I tap it with effort, it is not going to fall in my lap. Potentials will never become manifest unless I invoke them to become manifest. So what we're invoking here is potentials. The potentials of more punya, more things happening in my life which are conducive for my goal. We all want that, right? So this is why today especially we had the celebration in in India. It will be a big huge thing everywhere you go. For all of you, I've explained the context as a Vedanta student and why these rituals are important for your pursuit of this knowledge. They are not disconnected. Never disconnect. All our ashrams, gurukulams have temples. Swamiji never said of worship. There are some people who say we don't need. No. Until you discover the truth, when you discover the truth, you don't need. You can do or not. But I cannot drop before my time, right? If I drop the means for purification, if I drop the means for reducing the obstructions to my goal, then I will get lost in this river again. So that's why I keep up. Nitya karma means daily to be done karma. I don't let go. Like brushing my teeth, my invocation of Ishvara in the form of orders in my life has to be there. As a spiritual person, as a one who wants moksha. So with this, I pray to Lord Ganesha's grace. I pray for Lord Ganesha's blessings and grace for all of you, for your spiritual journey, for your pursuit. May his energy be with you always and clear your way to this self-discovery. This path, may it be clear, and may you immerse yourself in these teachings and see more and more joy in your life. That is my wish. Hari Om. ॐ सर्वे भवन्तु सुखिनः सर्वे सन्तु निरामयाः सर्वे भद्राणि पश्यन्तु मा कश्चित् दुःखभाग् भवेत् असतो मा सद्गमय तमसो मा ज्योतिर्गमय मृत्योर्मा अमृतं गमय ॐ पूर्णं शान्ति 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 हरिः ॐ श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः हरिः ॐ